We are introducing you to a fabulous senior in our Seniors on the Move segment.
Maddie Pascal welcomes Nancy Rossman, who has a great story about her parents' love. Maddie?
And we do indeed. She grew up living and working on our family farm in the heart of the Midwest, and working hard, I might say. Then she transformed herself into an accomplished author with a beautiful, poignant love story about her mom, and then on to becoming first runner-up to Miss Senior Arizona 2014. Please meet Nancy Rossman. Good morning.
Thank you, Maddie.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm so honored. What made you decide to write the story?
I had known about my mother's first love from the time I was 8 years old, and because he would phone every year on her birthday, which my father thought was hilarious.
So her first love was in her teenage years.
Yes, correct.
And then she went on to marry
my father, and that was a good marriage too. She outlived him. Then she had a second marriage. She outlived him, and then finally she was able to reconnect with Peter. They were both 75 by the time they got back together.
Amazing. When I read the story, I cried throughout, and then I've realized how really wonderful something like that is. And it happens, doesn't it?
It does happen.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. How did your mom feel about your decision to write this story?
She was ecstatic.
Was she?
She's in love with her own love story.
Oh, I love it. So she was a happy little camper.
She was, and she was very helpful. She said the saddest day was after a year, because it took me a year to do the research, even though I knew about Peter. And I would phone her every day with questions, and she loved that. She loved being involved. But I did not let her have censorship, and
Good.
She did not read the book until it was completely finished and edited.
Did Peter like it?
He did, but not as much, because of course my dad was involved in the
all throughout
telling.
the book,
yes,
right?
Yes.
But Peter was integral also. I loved
Yes.
Peter in the book.
Yes.
In fact, I think I fell in love with him too.
Oh,
I
that's
think your
sweet.
mom and I must have shared Peter.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you too, the most difficult part to write was what?
My father's death.
Yes.
And the funeral, because it was so sudden. He was only 48. I was in college. I was 20. My brother was 18. And my sister was 16, and that was a very tough time for our family.
I can't even imagine how you got through that, but then she went on and found another love.
Yes.
Married him.
Yes.
And then found Peter again. I think that is so unbelievable.
It really is, and my nephew said to her, "Grandma, you're going to get married again at 75?"
And she said,
She said, "Why not?"
yeah, exactly. Talk like your mom. Do a mom voice like you do.
Oh, darling.
I love it.
I am so excited that you wrote this lovely story of mine and that I got to be on television.
You're great at that. Are you still writing?
I am still writing. My second book will be out this fall, and that is also a memoir. It's called Nothing for Tomorrow. Wow. It's about a woman and our friendship. And then my third book I'm working on right now as we speak.
And do you want to say anything about it?
Yes, it's about the beauty pageant, the senior beauty pageant experience.
That we both experienced.
That we have both experienced.
Yes.
And it will be comedic in tone.
Do you think so, huh?
Yes. Old ladies in a beauty contest, yes. I think
it is
it's
pretty comedic, isn't it? Are we really that funny?
I think what happens is funny.
I do too.
Yes.
And what happened to us during the
what
pageant.
happened
yes.
to us.
And so you're going to write about that. How did you get this book out?
Which one?
Your book that we're talking about, First Love, Last Stand.
I had to self-publish it. I wanted
to ask you about that.
I went through the agent scenario, and though there was a lot of interest, people thought that it didn't have enough punch.
Yeah.
And so I self-published, but I was lucky enough to get attention from NBC in Atlanta, and then later CNN, then everything
now ABC,
changed.
and now the Morning Blitz.
Right, yes.
Right, and your philosophy of life, I have to ask.
It's never too late to learn something new.
Isn't that the truth? And you have indeed, haven't you?
I have.
Nancy, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I just really admire what you've done. Loved your book.
Thank you.
As I said, cried through it and felt like I knew you. And now that I do, I love you even more. Thanks again.
Thanks, Maddie.
And I appreciate it. Amanda and Sally, back to you.
Thanks so much, Maddie. That was an awesome story.
Yeah.
And coming up next, Chris Paul from Extreme Weight Loss has tips for challenging your lifestyle or changing your lifestyle for good.